The shocking prophecy of Enoch revealed, the day the heavens will unexpectedly break open. Few knew what truly happened that night in the ancient world. The air, thick with tension and whispered secrets, crackled like a storm waiting to unleash its fury. Enoch, a figure cloaked in mystery, walked among men, yet he was anything but ordinary. His eyes, a deep well of knowing, seemed to pierce through the very fabric of existence itself. Enoch lived in a time when men were torn between light and darkness, when their hearts danced perilously close to despair. The sun dipped low in the blood-red sky, heralding an ominous omen. He roamed the land, speaking of visions and prophecies that rattled the very souls of those who listened. Rumors swirled like autumn leaves. Was he a prophet, or did he walk the line of madness? His words resonated with a power that made the ground tremble beneath the feet of those who dared to follow. Stories of the heavens beckoning, of angels cascading like silver rain, pulsed through the hearts of the people. They dared to dream of the impossibly, a day when the firmament would break open, showering them with mysteries from realms unseen. What did Enoch know that they did not? His revelations lingered at the edge of comprehension, promising the impossibly, a glimpse into the divine, but then there were contradictions. Could such holy revelations come from a man who was so deeply entwined with earthly woes? Voices in the crowd questioned his sanity. Was he a messenger of hope, or a harbinger of doom? As naysayers plotted in the shadows and skeptics scoffed openly, Enoch felt the weight of their distrust settle heavily upon him. Would they even comprehend the gravity of what was to come? Every night, he sought solace in the depths of prayer, desperation echoing in the confines of his heart. The silence held secrets, each pause a reminder of impending change. Yet, as he dug deeper into his own spirit, sparks of hope flickered, a promise that there was more, something that could shatter their collective fears and ignite a flame of faith. And then, as if summoned by the intensity of his pleas, the night erupted. A surge of light illuminated the sky, bright as 1,000 suns, scattering shadows and doubts. Gasps filled the air as the heavens themselves seemed to bow in acknowledgement. The heavens were breaking open. But what lay beyond that blinding light? Was it salvation or splendid destruction? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Enoch stood awestruck beneath the radiant expanse that had spilled across the heavens, his heart caught in a storm of wonder and trepidation. The light illuminated the land, revealing every crevice, every shadow, making the familiar seem extraordinary. It was as though the universe itself had cracked open, offering a glimpse into realms untouched by human understanding. Yet, alongside this divine illumination came whispers of apprehension, tender threads of fear weaving through the air like a delicate web. As the brilliance engulfed him, he felt his spirit soar, but a lingering dread tugged at the edges of his thoughts. Would the people awaken to the sacred truth being unveiled, or would they cower in the face of the divine? Enoch's eyes traced the path of the descending light, which flickered with hints of celestial beings and unearthly sights. Were these angels, or did they carry the weight of judgment with them? He remembered the words of the ancients, when the heavens open, the heart of man is laid bare. The ground rumbled softly beneath him, and from the brilliance emerged figures cloaked in pure light. They floated gracefully, silhouettes more ethereal than the mist that hung low over the fields. Could they hear the whispered prayers of the earthbound? Did they carry messages from the eternal, threads of guidance woven into the very fabric of this moment? Enoch felt the pull toward them, a magnetic force urging him to step forward, to understand the significance of what was happening before him, yet doubts gnawed at him. His mind raced. What was the true purpose of this momentous event? He gazed toward the gathered crowd, faces painted with awe and confusion. Some quizzically looked toward one another, while others knelt, hands shielded over their faces from the divine brightness. In that intermingling cacophony of humanity, he could feel the pulse of uncertainty. How easily faith can crumble like dry soil with a touch of rain. With a trembling voice, Enoch called out, "People of the earth, heed this divine moment. The heavens are not to be feared. Rebuke the shadows that whisper deceit and gather close to the truth revealed." His words floated on the wings of the light, carried upward as if the heavens themselves were eager to listen, but the response was not what he had envisioned. Fear, like a storm cloud, began to gather as some turned to flee, believing this was a harbinger of doom instead of a herald of hope. Others, in their fear, shouted warnings, urging the timid to retreat into the safety of their homes. "This is madness. We have angered the gods," cried one voice. Amid the chaos, Enoch's heart sank as he watched the moment teeter on the edge of possibility and despair. He recognized then that the light was only the beginning, a window through which they must journey if they were to understand their own divine purpose. He felt the weight of the moment, the realization that belief cannot be forced, it must blossom from within. Through the turmoil of emotions, he turned his eyes back to the light, allowing its touch to seep into his soul. What was being asked of him, and those who dared remain? The visitations promised knowledge, yet it also threatened the delicate balance between hope and fear, between belief and disbelief. Would they emerge transformed, or would doubt snuff out the flickering flames of fervent hearts? As the light pulsed with intensity, a sound like distant thunder echoed in his ears, and a voice, resonant yet gentle, reached for him. "Enoch, you seek answers, yet what you hold is a question far greater than the ones you know. What did it mean to walk between worlds? To grasp the mysteries of the heavens while remaining grounded in the hearts of men?" With these thoughts swirling in his mind, Enoch could not help but wonder, was this moment merely the unveiling of wonders to come, or was it a call to embark on a journey that would change everything they knew about faith, fear, and the divine? As Enoch stood, suspended between the ethereal radiance and the mundanity of the world beneath him, the gentle rumbling of the earth transformed into a profound stillness, wrapping the crowd in a shroud of silent anticipation. The figures of light, no longer just silhouettes, began to step forth, radiating grace and calm, countering the storm of unrest that had risen from the hearts of the people. Their presence seemed to draw a veil of peace over the gathering chaos, much like the first breath of dawn banishing the night. One of the luminescent figures, taller than the others, approached Enoch. Its eyes glowed with wisdom forged from ages immemorial. "Fear not," the being spoke, its voice like the soft rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze. "This moment is both a gift and a test, a bridge between what is seen and what remains hidden. You, who possess the spark of curiosity, are chosen to carry forth the knowledge that unfolds this day." Enoch's heart raced, a blend of exhilaration and trepidation coursing through him. "But how can I lead them? They tremble before the light, blinded by fear and distrust. What can I offer that will guide them toward understanding rather than retreat?" The figure extended a hand, a gesture both reassuring and commanding. "Your task is not to force clarity upon them, but to embody it. Within you lies the potential to awaken the dormant seeds of faith that reside within every heart. To guide them, you first must embrace the duality of this moment, the awe of the divine and the frailty of humanity." Enoch knelt, overwhelmed by the enormity of his charge, yet feeling an unshakable yearning to fulfill it. What knowledge was to be revealed? The heavens had cracked open, the truth was spilling forth, and yet suspicion and misunderstanding threatened to consume those who wandered too close. "Would you brave the depths of these mysteries?" the being continued, its voice echoing in Enoch's soul. "To understand what lies beyond the surface? The revelation you seek is tethered to the echoes of the past and the stories that shape belief. You are destined to unearth the threads that bind these truths together." The air vibrated with potential as the other celestial figures encircled them, creating a luminous cocoon that seemed to vibrate with ancient songs of creation. Enoch felt the stirring of something deep within him, a joy ignited by wonder, tempered by solemnity. What ancient stories had shaped the fabric of existence? And how would he, an ordinary man, unpack the weight of such eternal truths? The multitude of emotions roiling within his chest urged him to speak again. With a voice that resonated despite the uncertainty surrounding him, Enoch called out, what do you wish for us to know? How will this revelation transform our lives? As if attuned to his inquiry, the realm around him shimmered with vibrant hues, transforming into visions a plethora of scenes unfolded like pages being turned in a sacred book. He saw the earth, overflowing with life, yet marred by strife and division. Families yearning for connection across chasms of misunderstanding, a community yearning to hold together despite the fractures of doubt. The figures of light gazed upon these struggles, their expressions imbued with compassion. You must be the voice that declares, unity is found in diversity, peace is forged through understanding, the ethereal figure imparted. Seek the thread of kinship among the people, for the tapestry of life is woven not from identical strands but from each unique fiber that binds them together. The celestial beings, in their brilliance, began to recede, leaving Enoch with swirling questions and a heart weighed by purpose. The luminous pathways faded into the sky, yet their presence lingered, as if echoing through time. The crowd, slowly rising from their stupor, began to glance at one another. Faces once painted with fear were now softened by curiosity. What lay ahead for them, as a collective? Would Enoch's heart be strong enough to guide them through their uncertainties, or would the shadows they had feared come to claim the light? As thoughts spiraled, he understood that the unsteady path of faith often twisted in unexpected ways. With the cacophony of human emotion rising anew, an unresolved question tugged at his consciousness: was he prepared to lead them toward a truth that could unravel their very existence? And in the process, would he himself discover the courage to face the mysteries that eluded understanding? As the crowd stood in reluctant unity, the air thick with unspoken fears and nascent hope, Enoch could feel the weight of their collective gaze pressing upon him. Each pair of eyes reflected fragments of his own uncertainties, mirroring the delicate dance of doubt and faith that fluttered within his chest. He sensed the need for words, comforting, uplifting words, but they felt elusive, shivering at the edges of his understanding like the first light of dawn breaking through the remnants of night. Stepping forward, he sought to connect with their hearts. "Brothers and sisters," he began, his voice trembling yet resolute, "the revelation bestowed upon me is not just for my ears alone. It is a beacon, a guiding star in our journey. In the tapestry of our lives, woven through generations, there lies a promise that we are not alone in our struggles. A ripple of acknowledgement passed through the crowd, but undercurrents of skepticism still lurked in the shadows, invisible yet palpably strong. Enoch could feel a reminder that faith requires tender hands to nurture it, as much as it requires the sturdy hands of conviction to defend it. In these moments, we are summoned to remember the stories of our ancestors. Each tale that has traveled through the winds of time carries wisdom, teaching us to embrace both joy and sorrow, triumphs and tragedies. Suddenly, soft whispers akin to rustling leaves swept through the gathering. The memories of their ancestors began to tug at their heart, stories of struggles endured, of once blind nations being awakened by a single voice. Enoch felt as if he were standing on the shoulders of giants. He continued, "We can draw strength from their resilience. Their experiences shape us, mold us into vessels of hope. As if bound by an unspoken agreement, the crowd began to look beyond themselves, into each other's eyes, searching for connection. Families who had clung to their differences now found the thread that bound their fears, an echo of shared humanity, a longing for healing. Enoch felt the atmosphere thrum with a new energy, electric and alive. Now is the time to discover what lies beneath the surface of our presence. The light reveals not only mysteries of the heavens but also the depths of our own souls," he said, invigorated by the growing sense of unity. "But remember, dear ones, the illumination brings with it the shadows. What lies unaddressed in the hearts can fester, preventing us from embarking on this shared path." A murmur rippled through the crowd, and Enoch could see the flickers of realization igniting within them. He became a bridge, and with a newfound purpose, he sought to parse the voice of tradition from the noise of discord. Let us gather our stories, each heart a chapter, each soul a verse in this sacred anthology. Together, we can create a narrative of connection, paving the path forward with empathy and understanding. As words bathed the gathering in warmth, Enoch glimpsed the ethereal figures lingering in the backdrop, their gaze patient yet watchful. The luminescence of their presence flickered softly, suggesting that what lay ahead was both a trial and a testament. At that moment, Enoch felt the weight of his task burgeon within him, a relentless tide that demanded action yet promised enlightenment. But even as hope began to weave through the crowd, Enoch knew that clarity and faith were fragile threads, easily broken under the strain of uncertainty. For every light, there could be shadows lurking, waiting for a moment of doubt to seize the hearts that dared to step forward. What then, do we do when the storms arrive? Enoch pondered aloud, his voice resonating with newfound gravity. When the peace we have found is threatened, how do we hold fast and confront the tempest? With a heavy heart, Enoch resolved to remain vigilant, for beneath every revelation lay a horizon of unexplored challenges. The mystery of unity was now entwined with the spirit of conflict, ever poised at the cusp of revelation. As the crowd began to engage in shared conversation, a question lingered in Enoch's mind. Elusive yet pressing: what chapters would unfold next in their intertwined stories, and how would they confront the shadows that awaited them on the path ahead? As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, Enoch felt an insistent pull towards the ancient oak at the center of the gathering. It stood grand and unyielding, a witness to countless prayers and secrets whispered to the winds. The crowd, now embroiled in tentative conversations, felt as if the very roots of that tree extended into their stories, anchoring them to a shared purpose. With each step toward the oak, he could feel a surge of unearthly energy within him, not an uproar but a gentle yet persistent reminder that he was a conduit, a medium through which ancient wisdom could flow. Embrace the space between our voices, he thought, for in it, the divine presence dwells. As he reached the base of the tree, thoughts curled around his mind like the tendrils of ivy. The weight of impending revelations pressed heavily on his soul. What must I reveal tonight? He whispered to the bark, as if seeking counsel from the ages. Suddenly, a faint flicker of light radiated from the branches above, casting down a soft glow that illuminated the faces around him, a tangible sign of hope that surged through the crowd. Brothers and sisters, Enoch's voice soared above the murmurs, weaving through the branches surrounding him. Perhaps it is time we turn our minds to the heavens, for they too have much to convey at this pivotal moment. The light that graces us bears messages and warnings alike, guiding us through uncharted territory. The faces turned towards him, reflecting a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. Enoch sensed the stirring of collective anticipation, as if the very atmosphere hung in a delicate balance, waiting for the turning of a page that would unveil the next chapter. There is something profound in the stars tonight, he continued, allowing the rhythm of his voice to coax them deeper into reverence. They shimmer not merely as ornaments upon a canvas, but as heralds of truths yet to be uncovered. As he spoke, his eyes drifted skyward, tracing the constellations familiar to his people. Each star felt alive, pulsing with a history entwined with destiny. Our forefathers spoke of cosmic alignments that hold significance, a time when the heavens would stir, shaking the foundations of understanding and revealing mysteries long veiled. A thick silence enveloped the crowd, broken only by the rustle of the leaves, as if the very night conspired to listen. Enoch reached deep within, drawing forth the prophecy that had been breathed into him during an earlier solitude. There will come a day, my friends, when the heavens will unexpectedly break open, a moment not to be feared, but to be embraced. In that unveiling, the truth will wash over us, unearthing the hidden demons within our hearts. A gasp spread through the gathering, reverent and alarmed. Whispers flitted like leaves caught in a gust, exchanging glances laden with meaning. Enoch pressed on. This prophecy does not promise a storm of destruction, but rather a cosmic unveiling, an invitation to cast off our burdens and face the tangled truths we have buried beneath countless tomorrows. In that charged moment, Enoch felt a surge of responsibility echoing in the depths of his being. What tangible shadows must we address now in preparation for the day the skies rip open? How do we cultivate courage amid uncertainty? We will only rise together through our shared understanding. The bonds we forge today will serve as our armor the day the heavens reveal their truth. Beneath the ancient oak and under the watchful gaze of the stars, a thought fluttered within him like the wings of a fragile bird, a revelation that eluded capture. What challenges loomed on the horizon, and how would they secure their unity amidst the revelations that awaited? As the stars twinkled in silent promise above, Enoch's heart ached with curiosity, the question hanging heavy in the air: could they withstand the truth when it finally broke forth, shining light upon the darkest crevices of their souls? The moon ascended gradually, shedding its silvery luminescence over Enoch and the gathered crowd. As the warmth of shared breath mingled in the cool night air, an inexplicable sense of urgency swelled within him. Like waves wrestling upon the shore, emotions crashed against his heart, pulling him closer to the fragile edge of revelation. "Listen," Enoch urged, lowering his voice to a murmur full of gravity. The prophecies of old tell tales not only etched in the stars but woven into the very fabric of our lives. Our history is a tapestry, rich with lessons and warnings, every thread significant in guiding our paths. A figure emerged from the outskirts, a woman draped in a simple cloak that fluttered gently with the night breeze. She stepped closer, her eyes bright with questions, reflecting the light of the stars above. Enoch recognized her, Miriam, a seeker known for her boldness in chasing truth. "Enoch," she called softly, "how do we prepare for such a profound unveiling? What steps must we take to fortify our spirits and ensure our unity?" The wind seemed to still as Enoch pondered her inquiry. The weight of his responsibility pressed like the roots of the oak grounding him. "We must first take stock of our hearts and reveal to one another the shadows we harbor," he replied, each word deliberate and woven with care. "The strength of our gathering lies in our willingness to confront our vulnerabilities. The heavens will not break open merely to see us undone, they yearn to inspire us toward healing and redemption." He glanced around the assembly, each gaze interlinked with visions of unspoken truths. Have we the strength to voice the burdens we carry? To unveil our fears without fear of judgment? It is in our sharing our vulnerability that we cultivate empathy, and it is through empathy we forge bonds that can withstand the fiercest storms. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the throng, nodding heads, entwined hands. Enoch felt a flicker of hope igniting amid the uncertainty. Yet, an unease lingered at the edges of their collective energy, gnawing at the edges of their resolve. "Then let us share," suggested a voice from the back, braiding courage into the fabric of the night. "Let us reveal our burdens and shine a light upon our shadows." One by one, stories began to unfurl, spoken in whispers and fervent cries, each echoing fragments of regret, fear, and yearning, the confessions of a people longing for liberation. As tales intertwined, beauty and pain danced with intensity, and Enoch sensed the air thickening with a palpable spirit, as if the ancient oak itself participated in their revelations. Past grievances slipped into the ether, and stories wove connections where there were once divides. Yet, amidst the harmony, doubt persisted like thorny vines around their hearts. Enoch raised his hands to still the gathering once more. "Behold, as we unearth these burdens, let us not forget what of the darkness still waiting in the shadows. There exists a weight we must also lift. We carry the sins of our ancestors, old grievances that cling to our lineage. Will confronting these truths create discord among us?" A hushed silence enveloped them, a fleeting moment where the world held its breath. In the depths of Enoch's being, an unshakable resolve sang out, a reminder that confronting the shadows, both within and among them, was essential. In the days ahead, we will encounter turbulence. The unveiling will not be gentle. Prepare your hearts, my friends, for in order to rise together, we must tread through the pain. As he spoke, Enoch felt the pulse of the universe, as if the stars answered him with shimmering confirmations. Yet within that light, a seed of doubt remained planted. Would they be willing to face the truth that lurked beneath the surface? Would their bonds, tested by trials and revelations, withstand the weight of history? As the night drew on, Enoch sought answers in the shimmering cosmos, a reflection of the divine in the mysteries of existence. Still, the question reverberated inside him, laced with unease: could they cultivate the courage to confront not just their own shadows, but also the deeper lineage of burdens that shaped their community? And if they were to brave the storms of revelation, what new heights of understanding awaited them on the other side? The night deepened, and with it, the stars twinkled like a myriad of eyes, observers of the unfolding drama in the hearts of the gathered. Enoch felt the weight of their shared anticipation, a collective breath suspended in the chill. The fire flickered, casting shadows that moved with an unsettling life of their own. Enoch's voice, firm yet tremulous, broke through the silence that had settled after his last words: "Let us not shy away from the depths where silence festers. gather around the flames, for it is here we may find warmth in our collective vulnerability. Each ember cast into the dark may illuminate a path unseen. Speak, my friends, not just of what haunts your heart, but of what our lineage brings forth, what we inherit and what we must shed. Miriam stepped forward again, her expression resolute. Enoch, my family carries a legacy of mistrust. Generations hidden behind walls built of past grievances. How can we hope to unveil the past when each story feels like a burden too heavy to bear? Her words resonated with many, a deep murmur rippling through the crowd. Enoch gazed into the depths of the fire, as orange and gold lapped against the night, forging connections between the past and present. Sister Miriam, he replied tenderly, our burdens become lighter when shared amongst a community transformed by empathy. But first, we must recognize the stories that anchor us to grief. They hold not only pain, within them lurk lessons and insights waiting to be awakened. Another voice from the circle cut through the dark, faint and quivering. What if our ancestry leans not merely toward grief, but toward fear of the unknown? Would that not bind us tighter to our chains, preventing us from walking further into the light? This question, trembling as it was, stirred a deeper contemplation among the assembly. Fear binds us, Enoch acknowledged, but it is also a catalyst for awakening. Consider the ancients, their journeys were fraught with fear of the unseen. In the moments when they embraced the unknown, they discovered true freedom. In the face of turbulence, we must choose courage. We must feel the weight of our history even as we strive to transcend it. Then a deep voice, gruff but kind, emerged from behind. But what if it is not fear that restrains us, Enoch? What if there are forces beyond our reckoning, darkness that watches, waiting for our stumbles? Enoch lowered his gaze momentarily, the shadows speaking truth. Indeed, there are forces that lurk. The prophecies whisper of trials that will arise, visions clouded with uncertainty. But let us remember, within darkness, light can be birthed. The prophetic threads of our stories are woven together, urging us to look beyond mere survivalto transformation. That he paused, letting the weight of his words sink into the hearts gathered around him. Tonight, we stand on the edge of revelation. The heavens tremble, awaiting our actions. There lies a choice before us: shall we embrace the discomfort of our truths, or allow the darkness to weave us into silence? A moment of stillness enveloped them, the gravity of the decision igniting internal dialogues. Each face reflected a flickering light of introspection, uncertainty battling hope. Enoch continued, fear will arise, and so will resistance. The process of unveiling won't be without strife. But in our striving, we cultivate relationships that can withstand the fiercest tests. Miriam's voice, steady and firm now, chimed in, perhaps it is not just darkness we face but necessary storms of change. For it is through conflict, through examination, that we claim the legacies of our ancestors, both the burden and the gift. As the night deepened further, their hearts began to pulse with the energy of possibility. Enoch sensed the spirits of those who came before him weaving through their assembly, urging them on, cheering from just beyond the veil. With a finality to his words, he added, the revelation shall come, my friends. Are we ready to behold it, stripped of defenses and ready to align with the truths waiting in the night? And as the flames danced, casting erratic shadows that mirrored his thoughts, a flicker of doubt remained rooted in Enoch's heart. If they were to confront the depths of their shared lineage, what unspeakable truths might they awaken? And in the confrontation of these truths, how might their understanding of freedom and unity shift forever? The air hung thick with anticipation, intertwining with the tendrils of smoke that rose from the fire, carrying with it a sense of something sacred and profound. Enoch felt a stirring, a tugging at the corners of his awareness, a whisper from beyond that both excited and terrified him. The thought of what lay beneath the surface of their gathering, the truths that waited just out of reach, consumed him. As he looked around the group, he saw more than mere faces, he saw reflections of past struggles and future hopes. Let us not forget, he began, his voice steady, that our stories are not isolated, they are interwoven like the very fabric of the universe. Each of us is a thread, vibrant and necessary. What happens to one reverberates through all time. A young blacksmith known for his strength and resolve, raised his hand. But Enoch, how can we know our path is true when the winds of fate howl differently for each of us? How do we trust the cosmos to weave our fates together when so much is hidden and uncertain? Enoch turned his gaze to Haim, seeing the sincere yearning for clarity reflected there. Ah, Haim, he replied softly, it is in the very act of taking the step into the unknown that we affirm our faith. Each choice we make, each moment spent in vulnerability is a testament to our desires and convictions. In moments of darkness, when faith feels thin, we must look to one another, drawing strength from the bonds we forge in community. Across the circle, Miriam's eyes glistened with a newfound understanding. So, then, she mused, her voice rising with newfound confidence, in embracing our vulnerabilities, we take on the mantle of our ancestors not just as their descendants, but as their carriers of wisdom. Each challenge met and every truth revealed is a flame lighting the way for others. Once more, the circle plunged into a contemplative quiet. Enoch could sense their weighty reflections, each individual was grappling with the magnitude of their actions. It was Kuria, an elder with silvery hair, who broke the momentary spell. Courage, she asserted. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to move forward in its presence. We must be prepared to honor all of our histories, the painful and the resilient. Her words resonated through the gathered hearts, stirring a current that flowed among them. Enoch felt the air shift again, the warmth of the flames suddenly tinged with an undercurrent of urgency. Together, we are stronger. But we must heed the call of our legacy, the shadow it casts over our potential. For it is in the acceptance of our truths that we find the keys to freeing not only ourselves but those yet to come. A low rumbling sound fluttered through the night, catching them off guard. Was it the wind, or something more significant? The questions swirled around Enoch's mind. Could this be the heavens responding to our unity of purpose? He wondered silently. The air thickened, buzzing with an energy he had never felt before. Then, with an almost palpable stillness, a voice spoke from the darkness, solemn yet echoing through the very marrow of his being. Enoch, you have summoned the essence of the ages. But there are truths hidden in the shadows that could break the bonds you seek to forge. His heart raced at the sound, the voice reverberating in the depths of his soul. A collective shudder passed through the group, their eyes wide, scanning the darkness for the source. Enoch took a breath, steeling himself against the coming revelation. Are we prepared for the unknown, my friends? He asked, glancing around at their wide-eyed faces. As uncertainty hung in the air, Miriam spoke up, her voice resolute. If our love for one another is true, it shall bind us through the storms that loom ahead. And yet, Enoch wondered, if they ventured deeper into this mystery, exposing both their hearts and the history that shaped them, what seismic shifts might ripple through their very existence. Would embracing these truths unearth a prophecy best left dormant, or would it illuminate a path previously unimagined? As the night pressed forward, the gravity of their potential hung like a fragile breath in the air, waiting for an answer only time could reveal. As the flame flickered, casting dancing shadows around the gathered believers, a palpable tension lingered, thickening the air with a mix of anticipation and dread. Enoch closed his eyes to hear the murmurs of the night, hoping to decipher the message hidden within the rustling leaves and distant murmurs of creation. The voice from the darkness continued, its resonance echoing with unearthly authority. You stand on the precipice of revelation, yet know this, not all truth is gentle, and not all blessings feel like solace. The shadows harbor secrets that may test your unity and faith. Enoch opened his eyes, granting his companions his steady gaze, seeking their resolve. We cannot turn back now, can we? To flee from the shadows would be to deny ourselves a fuller existence. His heart swelled with the gravity of his own words, tempered by the vulnerability they all faced. Kuria, her voice firm yet compassionate, interjected. This truth could forge or fracture us. We must prepare our hearts, not just for what we wish to hear, but for what we need to learn. It is the unmasking of our fears that paves the way for genuine connections, rooted in understanding and acceptance. The air around them electrified, like the stillness before a storm, as they all contemplated the depths of her insight. If they were to embrace their shadows, would they emerge stronger or find themselves unrecognizable? Then the voice spoke again. To grasp the prophecy hidden in the depth of your unity, you must recall the suffering that has shaped your lineage. The past channels through each heartbeat in this sacred assembly. Are you willing to confront those buried truths? A hush fell over them, the crackling fire felt more of a companion than ever. Each face reflected the weight of unspoken memories. Enoch noticed Haim, who appeared both thoughtful and troubled. What if some of those memories are too painful? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. What if they divide instead of unite? Ah, my steadfast friend, Enoch replied, moving closer to Haim, the act of sharing our burdens can light a path through treacherous terrain. It is precisely in facing the scars that we learn to honor their stories. Only then can we heal. Isn't it in our vulnerability that we find the richest connections? The flames crackled louder, as if in agreement, and the voice rose once more, the solemnity of it piercing through the darkness. A great trial awaits you, a reckoning of spirits intertwined. Lay bare your truths, as the heavens bear the dance of constellations. Each soul remembers its trials, and in such recollections, the path to your prophecy shall unfold. With that, a swirling wind circled the gathering, chilling yet invigorating. They knew without speaking that something monumental was at hand. Each individual wrestled with the depths of their history's loss, love, honor, and betrayal echoed silently in their minds. Miriam, emboldened and uneasy, broke the silence that had ensued. But what if we confront these truths and find we are not who we thought we were? What if the shadows are simply the ghosts of who we knew, but we are called to become something new? Enoch's heart raced as the gravity of her questions unfurled within him. Would they accept the transformative call of their legacy, or cower from the churning depths of their being? Each flicker of the flames illuminated their faces, bravery warring with trepidation. As a shroud of uncertainty enveloped them, Enoch posed a question birthed from the maelstrom within. What if freedom is not found in burying our stories, but in our willingness to illuminate the hidden corners? Are we truly ready to unearth the prophetic mysteries born from our blended fabric? The wind howled as if bending to the touch of his words. In that moment, as the shadows loomed larger, a question lingered, a haunting query suspended in the cool night air. What might they uncover, and would they be prepared to walk in the light of those revelations? As dawn's early light began to dance upon the horizon, painting the world in hues of gold and lavender, Enoch felt the weight of contemplation settle over the gathering like morning mist. The air shimmered with possibility, yet undercurrents of uncertainty twisted through the group, a symphony of hope and fear intertwined. The voice from the darkness had left them unsettled, yet it had also ignited a willingness to confront the depths of their collective existence. Enoch turned to the gathered souls, their weary faces illuminated by the first soft strokes of sunlight. My friends, today we stand on the threshold of the unknown, faced with the call of our ancestors and the weight of shared truths. Just as the new light reveals the tender petals of spring flowers, so too shall we uncover the richness buried within our hurt. With each word, he felt the pulse of the earth beneath his feet, evoking a stirring in the hearts around him. We are more than our past. Within each of us lies the essence of transformation, forged through understanding, acceptance, and the courage to embrace our shadows. The tender warmth of his voice wrapped around them, reassuring and awakening. A murmur cascaded through the assembly, hearts beginning to align with the dawn's promise. As they shared and unburdened themselves, weaving their histories into the collective narrative, Enoch witnessed the shifting of spirits. Familiar tensions began to soften, tentative glances exchanged with kinship and vulnerability lingering in the air. Enoch, Miriam spoke, emboldened by the unfolding connection. What of the darkness we must confront? How do we transform that which seems insurmountable? Through unity, Enoch replied, when we step forward together, each heart revealing its burdens will create an alchemy that lifts the weight from our shoulders. The heavens stir above us not as menace, but as a reminder of our shared journey. The light reveals our vulnerabilities to reaffirm our resilience. As he spoke, the sun ascended higher, casting a golden glow over the crowd, illuminating their features, faces touched by hope, shadowed by fears still unuttered but softened by the dawning understanding. Enoch raised his arms, inviting the warmth to envelop them. Let us now reveal our truths, one by one, casting aside shame and judgment. This sacred gathering is a canvas for stories of suffering, joy, and everything that lies in between. With a hesitant but determined spirit, Haim stepped forward. I have carried the burden of my family's shouldering mistrust, the remnants of betrayal entangled in every bond. I feared that I might carry this weight forever. But in this gathering, I see the faces of my kin, urging me to lay this burden upon the altar of forgiveness. Today, I choose to shed the chains of my lineage, to embrace possibility. Applause erupted, a soft but powerful storm, reverberating among them, and one by one, voices broke the bonds of silence. Each revelation hung in the air, woven with strands of shared humanity. Stories unspooled in heartfelt confessions, laden with grief and liberation, the very essence of existence laid bare. Each word ignited further sharing, an ember catching fire among them. They released sorrow and regret, healing the wounds that separated them. Enoch felt the momentum shift with each story. The air vibrated with newfound energy, a collective dawning of understanding. When the last tale finally found its voice, silence descended, thick as the fog lifting from the earth. There in that stillness, Enoch scanned the faces of the assembly, no longer merely individuals, but threads in a vibrant tapestry woven together by shared experience and vulnerability. It was beautiful, indeed a miracle, that they had traversed the storm and emerged hand in hand, hearts open and aflame. As the sun painted the sky anew, Enoch sensed a tremor in the air, a signal from the divine beyond that whispered through the leaves and danced upon the breeze. Now that we have unveiled the stories stitched into our hearts, understand this: the heavens have readied themselves to impart revelations upon us. Let our hearts remain steadfast under their light. A palpable anticipation gripped the crowd, every soul poised between fear and hope, knowing they stood at a precipice. Enoch breathed deeply, centering his spirit in the stillness, allowing the energy that swirled around to gather within him. Today marks a rebirth, a release from the burdens of our forebears, welcomed under the vastness of the cosmos. The prophecy unfolds, the heavens break open to reignite our spirits, to guide us forth. As he spoke, the air thickened yet shimmered with freshness like morning dew kissed by sunlight. There was a tugging in the fabric of existentia, cosmic alignment stirring as if the universe bore witness to their transformation. Then came the moment. An incandescent light burst forth beyond the horizon, blinding yet inviting, a cascade of luminescence cascading down. Swarms of energy and truth from realms unseen poured forth, awakening the elements and bathing the assembly in ethereal brilliance. Gasps echoed around him as the light enveloped them, revealing not only the cosmic tapestry of stars but the divine connections alive in their collective spirit. Fear not, Enoch called, feeling the surge of hope electrify the crowd. This light does not come as judgment, but as affirmation of our journey. The connection forged here, our courage to unveil the truth has drawn forth this moment from beyond the veil. It embodies the call of remembrance, the urgency of our shared narrative. As the brilliance consumed them, hearts melded into one. Each revelation resisted the shadows and echoed through eternity. Enoch felt the weight of the past dissolve in a shower of divine grace. In that splendid moment, he saw the faces of the ancestors who walked before him, their guiding spirits incarnate in the light now radiating through their shared existence. Then, in a singular breath of clarity, he comprehended the profound truth. The divine connection among them had transformed the burden of the past into a passionate hope for the future, igniting a flame that could never be extinguished. They were bold enough to embrace their truth, not merely as individuals but as a united force, intertwined through love, healing, and acceptance. In that moment, as the heavens poured down their divine promise, Enoch whispered a prayer for the world, a promise echoing far beyond their gathering, resonating through every fabric of existence. May we move forward, unafraid to unveil the truths that shape us. May we honor our scars and lift up the hearts of others through this light that binds us. For today, we are reborn in unity, and as dawn broke fully upon the horizon, illuminating the world anew, Enoch understood each awakening was an invitation to transformative love, leading them toward a brighter path. The heavens, indeed, had broken open, inviting every soul to rise and shine, illuminating the way for others to follow. In their scars and stories, the sacred tapestry of life continued to unfold. Their journey had only just begun.